And can I ask the question, can the naysayers all say nay? Yes, indeed, I think you can, because guess what just happened? In only what can be described as an "that's awesome" moment, Nikon have moved with extraordinary pace to ensure that all lenses that are Z applicable work with the Z8, bringing out, as we can see, a mere 15 days or roughly 2 weeks after the launch of version 3.00, we have Z8 firmware version 3.01. It is released and, as Nikon state, fixed an issue that prevented the camera from operating properly with some lenses. Such a simple and friendly sentence, which of course I suppose caused some people concern. It certainly allowed those in the comments, some in the comments, to get very excited about, well, look at what Nikon's done. Not only were various E to Z adapters updated via firmware from those third-party manufacturers, also there seems to have been a requirement for Nikon to jump in and do some tweaking themselves. Let's download and install version 3.01 onto my Z8 and see if I can get some Tamron lenses working. Let's do it. Yes, allow. Absolutely fabulous. If there's anybody in Sydney this weekend, I'm going to be at the For Me Fest in Sydney, Saturday and Sunday. And this is a general content creator, filmmaker, photography festival. It's got lots and lots of creators, lots of speakers, lots of industry people. I'm going to be there for the 2 days, and I'd love to see you there. If you'd like to catch up, we can have a chat, talk about photography gear. Please do join me for the For Me Fest. I'm guessing that's how you pronounce it. The FRME Fest 2025 in Sydney. It's going to be a hoot. I'd love to see you there. As we know, all we need to do is drop that firmware. As you can see, I've got the Z6 III firmware here from not that long ago. And all we have to do is pop it on the card. Then we put that card into the camera. It reads it. The whole process takes something like 4 or 5 minutes. Then we'll be running 3.01. And will the Tamron lenses I have, along with maybe some other third-party lenses, I think they're all going to work just fine. Considering that Nikon would not only have to write this fix, which I think would not be a huge fix, and I suppose that is indicated by the time frame of this happening, but in the 2-week period since the firmware 3.00 was released through to 3.01, we are talking 15 days. This has to include writing the fix, but it also has to include testing the fix. And if they find any issues with the fix, then they have to rewrite and retest. This is a very, very swift turnaround, and I can inform everybody that now every Tamron lens that I have in my possession right now, luckily I have 2, which is the 90mm and the brand new 16 to 30mm zoom. Both of those are working magnificently. I've also tried a few Viltrox lenses, including the 135 and some of my older Viltrox lenses, absolutely all working fantastically. This is a great result. This is what we want to see. Very quick, very proactive addressing of user functionality being minimized. It was minimized for some third-party lenses and peripherals, including the adapters. Not all, and perhaps not for everybody. It did seem to be that the mileage did vary a little bit between users. I didn't have enough data to know whether one lens of the same type was working for one user and not the other. But certainly it wasn't all Tamron lenses that were affected, nor was it all Viltrox lenses that were affected. It's very interesting, and my theory is around the 135 1.8 lab lens and the fact that it's not only working with the original 3.00, but also the focus limiter was working as well, and that's because that lens is very, very new. Now, you could say the same thing about the Tamron, and yep, that would be fair enough. But it's possible, it's just possible, that the protocols that get handed around, they just don't get updated as much as you would think. I had an interesting person commenting that they thought that the issue with the Tamron lenses meant that it wasn't an official relationship between Nikon and Tamron. That's absolutely not true. The relationship is absolutely official. Why or how this happened, it's hard to say. My guess is we will never ever know why it happened, but what we can say, it has been addressed so quickly, and when it comes to addressing bugs like this, I think we'd have to give them a 10 out of 10 for speed. Now, of course, in a perfect world, we do not want these things to happen in the first place, but they do happen. And they do happen to everybody. And as they say in life, the true measure of an individual or perhaps a company is not just how they go through life, but it's also how they deal with problems. This is a problem, it's been dealt with, everything's back to normal, and it's taken a very short amount of time. Let me know out there, are you on a Z8? What was your experience with 3.00? And now that you've installed 3.01, how's it all working for you? Is every single lens, every single AF lens that you've got that you can mount working? Are your adapters working? Your F to Z, your E to Zs, whatever brand, and also some of those third-party AF lenses. Maybe it's Meike, maybe it's Sirui, maybe it's Tamron, maybe it's Sigma. Does anybody out there have any of those APS-C Sigma lenses? I've not heard very much about those. I can't wait until Sigma get into the Nikon full-frame lens game. Please do check out my review coming out in the next day or two regarding the brand new Case 85mm 1.4 full-frame AF lens that is for both E and Z mount. This is a great lens. This is really very impressive, and it's coming in, I think, at a reasonable price point. It's a great option for those that might want an 85 1.4. Let's not forget, though, that Nikon's 85 1.8 Z native lens sits in the top 10 sharpest lenses of all time. That is a very impressive lens and really can't be beaten for its price point and sharpness. So we've got some great options out there for Z as well as E-mount, and well, here we are. We've got yet another lens that I think is great quality. All right, everybody, I'd love to know your mileage with firmware 3.01. As usual, it's been so great to have you here, and if this is your first time here, I'd love to see you again, so please do subscribe, please share, and please like. All right, bye for now.